Hi friends, and welcome to another fun video. In this video I'll be talking about the custom-made steel connections and how to create them. I've already placed the beams and columns, and some steel connections have been created, but they're not visible in this view. If you can't see your bolts and plates, the first thing to check is that the detail level of your view is set to fine. If it's set to coarse or medium, these elements won't appear. In coarse, you won't even see the beams or columns, just some lines. So I'll switch the detail level to fine, and now the steel plates are visible, but the bolts are still missing. The next thing I'll check is the visibility graphics settings. Scroll down to structural connections, expand the section, and you'll see a list of different structural connection elements. The bolts are not checked, so I'll enable them, and while I'm at it, I'll assign them a green color so they'll show up in green in this view. The steel plates I have already assigned a color. Hit OK, and the bolts are now showing. But the bolts and plates are showing up blue. That's a bit strange. The reason is that these bolts and plates are part of custom connections, and under the filters tab I assigned them the color blue. This setting overrides the colors I previously chose under model categories, where the plates were orange and the bolts were green. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Let's first go through how to add a standard steel connection, and then we'll look at how to create a custom one. So, how do you add a steel connection? Autodesk provides a wide selection of loadable, standardized steel connections. To access them, go to the Steel tab and under Connections, click the small arrow. This opens a long list of pre-made connections available in Autodesk. Right now, I don't have any steel connections loaded into the project, so let's go ahead and add the base plate connection to the list of loaded connections. Click OK, and the base plate connection is now loaded into the project. Next, select the column and the structural foundation. Technically, you don't need to select the foundation, but I'll include it anyway. Then, go to the Steel tab and click the Connections button. Revit has now made a connection. Select the connection on the right side in the Properties menu for the connections, which is now set to a generic connection. One level below, you can see the newly added base plate connection. Select it and wait a couple of seconds so it can load. And there you have it, a beautiful base plate connection. This is of course editable. Select it in the Properties menu, click Edit Type, and then Edit on the Modify Parameter row. A new window appears, and this is the base plate parameters dialog box. You can adjust a wide range of settings to customize the layout and specifications of the base plate based on your calculations. At the top, you'll find the base plate layout options, where you can set the plate's thickness and orientation. Just below that are the base plate dimensions, where you define the steel plate's length and width. Further down is the section for anchors and holes. Here you can modify the anchor diameter and length. You'll also find a variety of anchor types to select from. One feature I particularly like is the presence of small reference numbers next to parameters like anchor diameter and length. These numbers correspond to labels in the sketch on the right side of the screen, helping you visually track the changes you're making to the base plate connections. We'll not go into more detail on the base plate connection. Hit OK and apply. The base plate updates if any parameters have been changed. To improve the visual look, at least in my opinion, I'm going to add color to all our base plate connections. Start by opening the Visibility Graphics settings, then navigate to the Filters tab and choose Edit New. Next, copy an existing filter that's already used to color steel connections in the project. Rename the new filter to BP1. From the drop-down menu, locate our newly created base plate and select it. Click OK, and we are back in the filter menu where I will add the BP1 connection to our filter list. Then choose a suitable color pattern. I think pink will work well here. Click Apply, and you'll see the base plate connection change to pink. It looks marvelous. Now I can proceed to add the base plate connection to the remaining column to foundation transitions. Simply select the column and foundation, go to the steel menu and click Connection. Then, from the list of existing connections in the project, find and select the base plate connection. It will get the color pink since this connection is the same as the connection just created. Do the same for the rest of the base plate connections. Moving forward, I'm going to create a complex costume connection from scratch. The connection will be a beam to beam connection. Start by placing out our steel plates. I do that by first picking a new workplane and then just drawing it roughly up in 3D view before going into a 2D section for adjustments. The adjustments will ensure that the steel plate fits into the IPE beam by aligning the edges to the beam and adding chamfer cuts at the corners to match the beam's radius. As you can see, I'm using a wide range of shortcuts to speed up the modeling process. I highly recommend using shortcuts and creating your own if needed. Aligning the plate with the edge of the beam flange and the geometry for the plate is done. Hit OK to exit out of the sketch window for plate modeling. I will need to just adjust the placement of the plate, go to another section window and move our plate there. It will now align with the connected beam and our first plate is finished. I will need one more plate for this connection. So, select the steel plate tool, draw it up in the 3D view, change the thickness and edit the geometry in a section view. This plate will transfer shear forces from one beam to the other and will be welded to the connecting beam on the left. Hit OK, and the steel plates for this connection are complete. One more part is needed before creating a custom connection: the bolts. Select the bolt tool, then choose the parts to be connected, in this case the two steel plates just created, and press enter. Next, select the face where the bolts will be placed. Then, draw a rectangular area where a bolt will be placed at each corner. This is Revit's default bolt placement. However, we won't be keeping the bolts like this. Luckily, we can adjust both the number and placement of the bolts. Select the bolts, go to the Properties menu on the right and start editing the parameters to match the design calculations. Let's set the bolt spacing to 70 mm. Change the bolt diameter to 12 mm and select grade 8.8, and that completes the detailing of the connection. However, it hasn't been defined as a single connection yet. To do that, select the two steel elements involved, in this case the two beams. Then go to the Steel tab and click on Connection. A connection is now created, but it still needs a connection type assigned. Since I don't have any steel connections that fit these kinds of beam-to-beam connections loaded in my Revit project, I need to create a new one. This will be a custom steel connection. So a custom steel connection can include steel elements such as plates, profiles, bolts or welds, as well as standard connections. I've given the connection a logical name, and after hitting OK, I'm now inside the custom steel connection editor, where I can choose which steel elements will be part of the connection. Here, I can both add and remove elements. Since there are no parts assigned yet, I'll select the Add option and choose all the steel parts that will form the connection between the two IPE beams. When selecting the connection, you'll notice a small dot on one beam and a number 2 on the other. The dot marks the main beam, while the 2 indicates the secondary beam. When I switched them, the secondary beam ended at the main beam, which wasn't the result I wanted, so I changed it back. Let's go ahead and add a color for this connection in this view. Just to mention, this color alteration only applies to this 3D view. The section view has not been affected. I could, of course, add the filter to those views as well. The connection is now complete with a nice color applied to it. If I, however, later discover a calculation mistake, editing the connection will be easy. Just select it and press Edit. From there, I can adjust the bolts, increase the plate thickness, or even add new steel components. The connection is now saved in my project's connection library, making it easy to reuse. To apply it again, simply create a new connection and select it from the drop-down menu. This will make modeling steel connections much more efficient. Now, let's take a look at the last example in this steel connection video. A column-to-column connection. Let's put it back together before creating a costume connection. Select the two columns, go to the Steel tab and press Connection. The two steel columns will now form a connection. Next, click the Custom Connection button and give it a logical name. Then, add all the steel parts that will be part of this connection by simply dragging a rectangle over them. Once selected, click the green check mark and the connection will be saved in the Steel Connection library. To finish it off, apply a color using a filter, just like we've done earlier in this video. I have a total of 4 of these column-to-column connections, so I'll go ahead and add this connection to all 4, although the faster way would be to use the Propagate tool, which recognizes similar conditions and automatically applies the connection if possible. For this demonstration, I'll add the connection manually, the old school way. And that concludes this tutorial. Be sure to like and subscribe for more fun videos.